have added a bunch of gateways. He didn't have any presence on the map. He didn't have any reason to believe the Protoss player didn't have a third base. So here's Maru, our ace player, our starting player as well. From start to finish, we go from Maru to Maru here for JINAIR Green Wings. Currently 5-0 in Pro League. Wants to make it a 6-0 against this guy, who's had a decent season, especially able to take that win against Cure really impressively there at the end in the same matchup.
Yep, this guy, Super, now 1-1. Let's see if he can break that streak. I think he could be the guy, like you were saying. A really nice prediction out of you to come, and you know, he did take out Cure very nicely there, one of the Terrans, so maybe he can do the same against the older brother of Maru.
Yeah, I think we're going to start right away here. We'll talk about a lot of different things once we get into this game. The map, of course, is Outboxer, a map we don't see very often in Pro League. It's oftentimes the ace map. Let's jump into it right now.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Down here in the bottom right, the red Terran representing JINAIR. He's back again. Maru, can he bring his streak to 6?
He's up against the player to the top left. Currently 1-0 this match. Beating a Terran, wants to beat 2. It's Super, also known as Vampire. And there's two really important things to note about this match. One is that JINAIR's Green Wings' choice to send Maru out here, they probably expected Super. There's the off chance they pick DRG because he's high profile, but DRG has messed up so much in ace matches and important matches in the GSTL that I think it's much less likely, and I think that's probably something that JINAIR knows from observing StarCraft 2 games in the past of DRG. And what they're basically saying by sending Maru out here is, yeah, you practice for a different matchup than the one you're probably going to get, but you're just so much better than everybody else on the other team that you're going to win. That's like what they're saying. And what MVP is saying is, you practice for this matchup, Super, and you're probably going to hit Maru. Are you confident? And Super said, I'm confident enough. But the thing to note is, in the game we saw against Cure, we saw a very specific build, a very specific order of things that he did on a map. This is a different map, a map he doesn't have as much experience on. This is also a totally different player, and he cannot do the exact same thing again. It just doesn't work on this map. He's not going to want to do the same thing twice because that's predictable. So he's going to actually have to play a totally different game. So despite the fact that he practiced for this matchup specifically, is not really that relevant, all things considered.
Yeah, and he is definitely doing something different, going for that gas first, as our observer did show us there. Could see a lot of tech out really fast. We're going to have to see what he goes for. Maru, in his first game in Pro League, he did take out Stork on this map with some really, really nice Marauder Micro against those Colossi. So we're going to have to see how he does against Protoss again on this map.
Maru playing safe, just like we saw in game number 1. Scouts, make sure there's no proxies behind his mineral line. And also that he's just going to send that first scout over to the base with the SCV. And we'll also do the Reaper expand, as he did against DRG, just playing super safe.
Very smart. He knows that Super has the potential to cheese him here in the ace match. Could take that cheesy ace win, you never know, but he's going to get this SCV in here. He's not going to see a third pylon.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly what he's looking for.
Yeah, he's going to have that Reaper follow-up as well. He's probably going to click on that gas, see how much gas is mined.
Now, here's a shot of our second floor ace booth, currently not in use. And there's that Stargate going up, so he wants to find it. That's exactly where his Reaper is headed. And you know what? He actually has to pop up there and check for it, though.
He has to go up there. It doesn't look like he's en route to do just that.
Maybe he expects the location to be on the right side. He sends both of his scouts in that direction, so it seems like that's what he's expecting.
Does see the Chrono Boost on the gateway for that Stalker coming out. Sees this Zealot as well. Does know that came out. Maybe trying to cut this off halfway. Doesn't want this to be on the map. Using the Reaper instead. He probably is expecting a proxy because he did not see a third pylon. He's going to get that engineering bait, try to get those missile turrets up. He's ready for this.
Yeah, he also starts his command center on the high ground. Another big tell that he's ready for this. The scout on the eBay is really, really nice as well for Super, because he knows, okay, there's going to be turrets up. And I know, he's like, I know the exact timing because I saw the eBay finish. So he knows exactly that there could be turrets up by the time he hits. So going to definitely affect how much he wants to commit to this. He starts a Nexus first before he starts his Oracle. And we're going to see turret pop up in just a moment. Maru has got to realize at this point that this is what he's up against.
I hope so. It's not coming out just yet. The Oracle's about to finish. It's a bit closer.
He
It
could
is
actually
proxy.
He could start it right now. He's not doing it. He may actually have not realized what he's up against.
And this could be big. He doesn't have that many Marines.
Yeah, he does not have enough.
That's
This is
only
actually
for-
kind of a surprising oversight here by Maru. No turret. Here we go. Oracle comes in. 1 kill. 2 kills already. Going to fight most of these Marines. And he's actually barely going to get the finisher there. One Marine pops out to finish off the Oracle on the other hand.
And wow, he just barely lost that Oracle to a bunch of Marines. He did delay some of the barracks, but I'm not sure if that's enough damage done. He did take out a bunch of the army of Maru, but not so much.
Well, he gets some of the army, right, like you said, and this means that his Nexus is very safe. Also, the Marines are going to have to stick around home for a while against possible potential Oracle follow-ups because just 1 missile turret's not going to be enough. The Oracle can just find the sweet spot against that. And the command scenario was, because Maru didn't know exactly what he was up against, a little bit delayed. Do you think, I mean, the thing is, he didn't even make a bunker as if he was ready for maybe a blink stalker on. I think he just played a little bit too greedy there. As it turns out, though, now he finds us, now he knows, now he's comfortable because you can also see there's no more Oracles in production. But economy-wise, this is a good place for Super. Tech-wise, it's not ideal because the Stargate tech is no longer useful for him, but he's already transitioning. The one thing he's really missing is the Forge, the oh-so-critical Forge to get those upgrades out.
Yeah. He does have everything else, though. That Twilight Council, Stargate, as well as robotics facility coming out.
The trifecta. The trio
He's
of
going right
techs.
for the Triforce. He's not wasting any time.
We'll see if he can pull out the Master Sword in this game. And actually, he saves that Stargate. So the Stargate, probably not going to be useful later on in this game, but it could come to be. And this is what we normally see from Super. Not the type of game that we saw last game, but this mid-game where he goes into the double forges. Not to say that the Stargate opening is what we normally see from him, but just this comfortable, slow mid-game where he goes, okay, I'm going to get Blink, the Defender drops, I'm going to get double forge, I'm going to Chrono Boost, I'm going to be all about the upgrades, I'm going to spend all my gas on that before I get Colossi, before I get Storm. Got to get those upgrades, got to focus on that. Got to keep up with Maru.
Yeah, I mean, what you said before about, losing a bunch of units, losing a bunch of army from Maru, Super was safe to tech up like this and just basically get the 2 forges up, get the trifecta. He feels very safe right now. He's going to start getting units out now to defend any pushes that Maru could possibly do at this time. But he's not going to expect that, and he's going to get all these techs up, and he's going to be able to do that because he took out those Marines.
Yeah, if Maru wants to be aggressive with this army that's a little bit weakened by the Oracle push, Super has 2 words for him, Mothership Core, and he's just going to be fine at his natural.
Yep.
Looks like he may actually be able to finally unpower the Stargate and get a free pylon. He's going that way, so he's going to be aggressive and try to bait out that overcharge on the Mothership Core, but at least do some damage on his way. Most likely, he doesn't have the Medivacs with his army just yet for vision, so he's actually going to... Well, we'll see if he walks up there. Okay, he's just going to send 1 Marine. Maybe?
It's the scouting Marine.
Okay, so it's just for vision.
Yeah, for vision. No reason to send your whole army up there and get it caught out. Never want that. Maru at every turn, making sure he's doing everything right. 3rd coming up for Super.
This is a very similar looking game to the one we saw with Stork, where Maru attacked and split his units so well at the 3rd base against the only, I think, 1 Colossus that he had in that game. We're going to see a very similar situation here. He's probably going to try to focus this down before he goes into the main base because he knows it's so new, so low on hit points. And Maru's micro is so good. Got to be so careful. Doesn't have a lot of Marauders, though, so committing against that Colossus is going to be a risky choice. He goes for it, targets the Colossus down, and Super, not paying attention, loses the Colossus, and now Maru's going to be able to boost away here on the medevac. Great trade for him.
That's Maru getting a Colossus for basically a Marauder and 2 Marines. You never want to do that. Very good job distracting with that 1 Marine at the Stargate. Not paying attention is Super, and that's going to be big. That's 1 Colossus down. He has a stim and a bunch of medevacs here with the extra reinforcements coming up. This may just not be enough units for Super.
He's desperately trying to time warp here. He doesn't have any sentries now with his army. There's the Nexus. He's going to be able to use overcharge if he wants to, but well, actually, if he had enough energy, he could, but since he used time warps, he cannot. And now that Colossus goes down, and Maru can trade here, then pick up and go into the main base. Pick up and run away if he wants to. He's just getting good trade after good trade. This is that mid-game momentum that he normally gets. He's going to be able to knock this Nexus down, and things are looking worse and worse for Super all the time.
Maru just looking so strong in every game that he plays, especially against Protoss, making Super look silly, coming in here, and there's just not enough units. All these Colossi getting picked off one by one. It's just too much. The mules coming down, and the factory going to land.
Factory landing here as well, minimizing the surface area for the Zealots. He tries to target down that Colossus, boosts up with the medevacs on top of it. Goodbye Colossus and goodbye Super. Maru looking poised to take this ace match right now. Time Warp goes down only on one Marauder here. And, using the GG.
Wow.
Maru, this is what he does in the mid game. If you try to take a third base against him, while you're trying to tech as well, you'd have to be a little bit careful. I almost feel like waiting a little bit longer to take the third might have been a better choice.
Also, not getting a bunch of your Colossi picked off like that. You want to keep those Colossi in 3 or more, especially against a Terran in the mid game. You can't just lose them one by one like that, and he did. Used a bunch of those time warps not very efficiently. Probably would have been better on the photon overcharge on that Nexus.
That's a question, because if he doesn't use the time warps, then he might lose his Nexus before he can even use the overcharge. So he has to make a tough choice. And I think his choice might have even been the right one. In my mind, I just kept thinking the Nexus is going to finish. Eventually, he's going to drop that overcharge. Then as the words started to come out of my mouth, I realized, well, he's already used his time warps, and Maru was still coming at him. He doesn't have the energy. He can't do it. Maru is a solid player. Now, when you take the individual results of these two players, especially for the last year, and put them right next to each other, Maru makes Super look like a nobody. I mean, he's just one of the top players in this whole league right